那我们就碰到一些，你们都是重庆本地人，对不对？哦，不是的，不是，你们是你是四川。哦，不错不错，四川离这里很远吗？很近，对吧？
欢迎来，我要
哦，欢迎来，哦，太好了，谢谢。I'm from America. Yeah, and my friend is from Canada.
Hello.
When you see American, do you think like we're good people? Yeah. Okay, perfect.
We want to be friends.
You want to be our friends? Okay, good. That's great. That's what I want everybody to understand. When you come to China, this is what it's like. Over 120 nations around the world call this country their top trading partner. And whether you like China or not, there is no denying that China will have an incredible impact on the future of our world. And that leads us to a much bigger question. What is China really like in 2024? Well, to help us answer that question, I've traveled to Western China and I'm standing atop the 73rd floor of the World Financial Center. This is one of the most incredible outside observation decks. I'm standing 590 meters above one of the most incredible cities in all of the world. This is the city of Chongqing, which over 25 years ago was elevated to the municipality status here in China. And what that means is that this city is now home to over 35 million people, making it the most populated city in the entire world. And looking at the peninsula of Chongqing is absolutely incredible. Many of you might know that China is in fact home to the largest amount of skyscrapers in the entire world and some of the most incredible engineering endeavors. This project right here is the Raffles Center, one of the most expensive and biggest construction projects in all of China's history. This is supposed to resemble a sailboat looking out on the Yangtze River, and as China sails towards the future. Now we're starting today's video on the top of the World Financial Center because when you're exploring a city of 35 million people, I think it's really good to start off getting an aerial view. Again, I've never seen anything quite like this, and Chongqing is really incredible because this was a strategic port for many of the ancient Chinese dynasties. In fact, the very earliest recordings here was actually 1000 BC, and we're going to take you later in that video to the very area where they built the first fort in all of China. Now behind me is the famous Yangtze River. This is called the Long River in Chinese, and by far it is the most important river in all of the country. The Yangtze Delta is responsible for approximately 20% of China's GDP, as this river has been an important part of China's transportation, water, irrigation, sanitation, and trade for centuries now. In addition, we're also only 400 kilometers away from the famous Three Gorges Dam, the largest hydroelectrical power plant in existence today. Chongqing plays a vital role in the future success of China. And if we're going to understand what China's really like in 2024, let's head to the street of China's largest municipality. Now, the biggest question with China in 2024 is the economy. This is something that everybody is focused on because we have certainly seen China's economy retract and certainly not be as robust as it was before the pandemic. The 3.5 years of the pandemic in China certainly was a difficult time, but there's also a big cultural element that I think people need to understand. You see, when the economic slowdown comes in China, Chinese people actually revert more to a savings culture. This is one of the biggest things that you'll learn about living in China, is that the vast majority of Chinese are in fact incredible savers of money. Now, what we're seeing now with this economic slowdown, for example, as you can see, I'm standing outside of Times Square. This is a very popular shopping area with a lot of high-end luxury shops. Businesses like Prada and Gucci, Louis Vuitton, the high-end shopping brand, these stores are completely empty. Nobody is in there buying anything. So this is what has shifted a lot in China. The high-end luxury goods, those markets are really suffering. They're having a difficult time in what used to be their most profitable place in the entire world. Again, when I was in China back in 2007, 8, and 9, when the Chinese economy was growing by 12, 14, 15% every single year, these stores were absolutely packed. Chinese consumers were buying tons and tons of luxury goods. But what you're seeing with China's economy is actually something very different. When hard times come, Chinese immediately start saving money and instead resort to other options. Now I'm standing outside of M Stand. This is an artesian gourmet coffee shop that has become very popular in China. This was originally founded in Shanghai, but now there are hundreds of locations around the country. And this is what I mean by Chinese people start to shift. Instead of buying the high-end luxury bags, Chinese people are saving money, and when they're wanting to splurge, they're splurging on things like coffee. So again, M Stand, this is something that would be comparable to a Starbucks. A latte there costs you 36 renminbi, which is roughly around $5 US. Not much different than what it cost at Starbucks. So again, what we're seeing here in China is that when the economic slowdown comes in, the super high-end luxury goods start to slow down, but other things start to improve. So for example, the coffee market is actually incredible. Did you know that there are more coffee shops in Shanghai than in New York City and London combined? The coffee culture is alive and well, and again, this is kind of the mini luxury that Chinese people are now enjoying with this economic slowdown. And another market that is experiencing some tremendous growth is the sports industry, and I'm standing outside Li Ning. Now, Li Ning is one of the most famous Chinese Olympic gymnasts of all time. In fact, when Beijing hosted the 2008 Olympics, if you remember, it was Li Ning that was running around the track at the top of the stadium and was in fact the final person to light the Olympic torch in the 2008 Beijing Olympics. He has now created an incredible brand, and this is something that I want people to understand. For many years, American brands were always the most popular. Things like Nike or a foreign brand like Adidas, these were considered better, higher end brands. So we're going to check out the flagship store of Li Ning, and one of the interesting things is the rebranding that this company did. They actually wanted to include China directly into the brand name to create more brand loyalty. The first two characters at the top is 中国, meaning China, Li Ning. And this was a strategic shift and incredible branding from Li Ning. By putting the actual characters of 中国 into the actual brand name, a lot of young Chinese are really embracing this brand because for so many young Chinese, they're very proud of being Chinese. They're very proud of their country. And although brands like Nike and Adidas are still very popular here in China, Chinese brands are also becoming very popular. And just like that M Stand coffee that can compete with Starbucks and do well here in China, we're seeing things like Li Ning, once again, producing quality goods that are incredibly popular amongst the Chinese youth. So to give everybody some comparison, this is a high-end premium graphic tee from Li Ning. This costs 299 renminbi. That's about 40 US. So once again, very much on par with what you would get that and probably a similar t-shirt at a Nike or Adidas as well. The Chinese quality has improved over the years. China is producing incredible brands, but not only that, they're being embraced by the population, and that is a big shift that we've seen in China. We're standing outside the Chongqing Cultural Arts Center, and this is one impressive building. One of the things I love about coming to China, it is really an architectural playground for many architects. And this, of course, is a modern rendition of a traditional Chinese pagoda. Beautiful building here. What a great place for an art center. And what's really unique about this building behind me, it reminds me very similar to the 2010 World Expo that was held in Shanghai, and they built a China pavilion, very similar architecture. Pretty cool to see that concept being implemented here in Chongqing as well. One of the impressive things about Chongqing is it's a city that's really built into the side of a mountain. So as you're exploring this city, you constantly are going up and down stairs. About 3 p.m. in the afternoon, so we're a little bit early for dinner. These seats are set up for people to wait outside. A couple hours, this will be packed full of people. So we're kind of right in between the lunch and the dinner rush. Let's go explore some more. Well, we're now standing at the Hongyadong, which is one of the most important and popular cultural and tourist sites in all of Chongqing. Now, what's interesting behind me is you'll see a tremendous amount of local tourists, and actually, Chongqing is the #1 domestic destination in all of China now. So although that we aren't seeing a ton of international travel from the Chinese now, as with these economic slowdowns, domestic travel is skyrocketing through China as people are saying, hey, we've got a beautiful country here. Let's go explore some of the incredible cities. So as we come to the tourist area, many of the people next to me here would actually be from other areas of China. Again, more domestic tourism than any other city in the country at the moment. And we're in a unique location as we're actually on a peninsula. And this is one of the important bridges in the city. This is a unique bridge because on the bottom is actually a train track, and this is where the local metro system goes on the bottom. But as you can see on the top, that is dedicated to automobiles. Beautiful architecture. Now, one of the fun things about traveling through China is that wherever you go, there is some local specialty food. And here in Chongqing, that of course is the spicy red peppers. And I want to show you guys This is like what the Chongqing people would just snack on. This is some peanuts mixed right into the red peppers here.
里面看到火锅底料。
好的，好的，谢谢。哇，这个辣椒
对，
蛮厉害的。
火锅底料。
哇，很棒的。
很棒的。
And what we're looking here, this is actually the base of the hot pot. So this would be a very popular thing that many of the locals would buy. Typically what they'll do is they'll take this and they'll put that directly in their hot pot. Of course, they like it very spicy and they have different levels of spice. 哪一种是最辣的？
最辣的这种荷麻辣。
这种的，这个叫什么？变
态辣。
变态辣。哇的天哪！ So whenever you come to China, you've got to always ask for the specialty food. This is a popular one. You've got to come to Chongqing and have a hot pot, get some spicy food. And I think for many foreigners that haven't been to China yet, one of the things that I would want to tell you is that it is absolutely a foodie haven here. You can travel all around the country. Every city has different foods, and I tell you, it's some of the best food in the world. And the variety is what's really incredible about China. It's 5 p.m. local time, and we're getting closer to the evening rush. You can see the crowds behind me starting to fill in, and we're actually in one of Chongqing's busiest tourist areas. This is the heart of the central business district. Big shopping area here. And behind me is actually one of the most important monuments in Chongqing. This is actually a war memorial that was first erected to celebrate China's victory over Japan in the Second Sino-Japanese War. But actually it was changed in 1949 by the Liberation Army when they captured the city of Chongqing and actually liberated the city. As you can see behind me, we've got a lot of tourists. Again, Chongqing is the #1 tourist destination for domestic Chinese visitors. So most of the people that you see behind me are actually from other parts of China, all coming to Chongqing. The crowds are filling in. And, you know, we're ready for some nightlife here because once the sun goes down, the restaurants start filling up and there is a... Hello, 哥们儿，你好。你好，你好，你好。你好，你好，你好。And as you can see, most of the people here are extremely friendly and absolutely love interacting with the foreigners. You know, what's incredible here is that a lot of people say that traveling to China is potentially dangerous. You know, even the State Department from the United States has issued a level 3 travel warning from Americans to coming to China, saying that you risk being arbitrarily detained by the Chinese government. But the reality is that China remains a safe place to come. There's no problem here. But to really understand more about Chongqing, I'm going to bring in somebody that now is a local and is somebody that you guys know. Everybody, this is Alex from Reporterfy Media. Alex, great to meet up with you, brother.
Great to be seen.
Absolutely, man. Fantastic. Well, Alex, let's go for a little walk and
Sure.
talk. You know, everybody really enjoyed the first time that we met in Shanghai last summer. You know, now, summer 2024, I'm here in Chongqing. And, you know, the title of this video, Alex, is really, you know, what is China like in 2024? So I was doing some research and found that the Yangtze River Delta is responsible for 20% of China's GDP.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we really are at one of the most pivotal cities in China, and you've been here for 4 years now.
Yeah.
So I want everybody to know a little bit about your expat journey, you know, and what life is like for you here in Chongqing.
Even in the short time that I've been here, I've seen massive changes. You know, you mentioned the Yangtze, we call it the Yangtze River Economic Belt,
Okay.
which is then connected to the Belt and Road,
Right.
which is connected to the International Land Sea Corridor, which is connected to, you know, other corridors. And what
Right.
happens is this city that is pretty much still kind of unknown to most
Yeah.
people. They have a nickname and it's called 0 kilometer, the starting point of the One Belt, One Road. And I know your viewers know exactly what I'm talking about. You've done many videos about it before.
Right.
And you brought up that figure, 20%. Yes, this is a river that is a major economic channel. It also, a lot of the goods that are made here need to be transported out of here. So this city 20 years ago was very different to what it is now. This monument behind me here was one of the tallest buildings in the city. And in a matter of 20 some years, this has become a mega city, still unknown to the West, but very well known to Chinese and understanding it's an incredibly important part. We hear of tier one cities like Shanghai and Beijing, but this city is quite interesting. It's governed by the central government, and it's a very, very important piece of the One Belt and One Road. And we're going to discuss that today with the viewers as well on what is going on here. Is this just tourism?
Right.
Or is this China's new motor city as well?
So Alex, you brought up a good point here because one of the things that we hear in America right now is that China's economy is decimated. China's economy is slowing down, and there's no doubt about it. It's certainly not the same economy and the same situation in China pre-pandemic, right? We have seen a big shift in the country here. And at the same standpoint, what's interesting is in the last 2 months, one of the words we've often heard is overcapacity, right? Overcapacity, China's overcapacity, and that China's manufacturing too many goods, and that is now a threat to the world. But you mentioned something about the Motor City. And what I want to know is, how has China's overcapacity actually been a benefit to the people here? Because I would say that electric vehicles, certainly China is overcapacity because they're producing more than anybody else. But I think you have some interesting insights about EV cars and how that has really affected life here in Chongqing.
Yeah, let's discuss EV cars and let's discuss Chongqing. This was a very heavy industrial city. Still is. Nothing's perfect. It knows it has to mature and grow up. But I mean, the sky here is much different than what it was 10 years ago. 20 years ago, you just got to look at the pictures of the city. It's just dark and gloomy, okay? It doesn't matter what day it is.
Right.
Now, blue skies are coming back. The air is much clearer. And that has a lot to do with not just the government's initiative, but also the push towards going to new energy vehicles. Now, this is not an environmental crusade where we're seeing massive groups get together and have let's say a spokesperson or a Greta saying, you know, the world is over. This is not why new energy vehicles are coming into the market and being popular. They're here because economically, they help the average Chinese person save money. First of all, on transportation. Now, this is a country that's laid down more than 60,000 kilometers of high-speed rail. Yes, from city to city. It's great. It helps logistical chains. It helps people get product to the market. It helps farmers. It helps many people get their product to the market. But if we're going to zero in on what's important in many people's lives around the world, it's a car.
Yeah, absolutely.
You need to get to work.
Alex, you mentioned, what's the base price? I mean, like if I'm...
Okay, let's jump into it.
What's the cheapest car that's available here that's really going to be affordable for the average Chinese?
About $4,000.
For $4,000, I'm getting my basic entry-level EV car. And you know what's interesting? I want to just kind of piggyback that because I started today's video on the top of the
WFC World Financial Center. Yeah,
and
beautiful building.
What was so amazing there is I took some photos there and I sent it to a buddy of mine that lives in Shenzhen.
Right. Okay.
And he used to live in Chongqing.
Right.
He used to live in Chongqing in 2007.
Oh my!
And he was here for half a year and he left back in 2007. Hasn't been back since. And he said, "Wow. I don't even know what building you're on because there was no building that tall to get a photo what you got. And I cannot believe the skies are that clean because in the 6 months that I lived here, there was not a single clear day. It was heavy pollution every single day."
He's right.
So I think, this is what I want people to really understand. And, is the EV plays a large part into that, but also just, this is something that China has really excelled in, is the green transition and reducing pollution and becoming a much more modern, civilized society. It's incredible the differences. Again, 2007 is the first year I came to China.
I want to say this. I was told unreliable, burning down. Yes, we've seen these videos of cars on fire. We see them with Teslas on fire too. But okay, whatever. Put the differences aside. When my first experience happened with new energy vehicles, I got out of the taxi and I went to the back of the car and I looked at the exhaust and but wait a minute. This felt like a petrol-powered car.
Right.
It was moving fast. It was smooth. It just felt everything like a car. And I thought, well, what are people talking about? Okay, the entry level is $4,000, but it's an entry-level car designed for a Chinese to drive in a big city there and back. It's a commuter car. There are some advantages in Chongqing and other cities in China. Getting a car used to be a bit of a process here in China.
Right.
You might have to apply for a plate. It might cost you tens of thousands of dollars in certain cities.
Yeah.
Well, new energy vehicles are green lighted.
Yeah.
Buy it, it's on the street, and the shopping malls are ready for you to let you park for free and let you charge for free.
Yeah.
The other thing about what China did is they made sure that the grid pretty much spanned the whole country before they turned the cars on.
Yeah.
And the other thing that we're starting to see here is most of these companies, they understand that collaborations are important. It's not us against him and let's bury this company. We know that there's going to be consolidation in this market, but it's not going away.
Yeah.
This is here to stay. They're going to continue to push forward. Now, A city of Chongqing, 35 million plus. I would say at least 1 in 3 or even 50% of the cars on the road have that green plate, which means they're new energy vehicles.
Easily. And you know what's amazing, Alex? On this time back to China, I've been traveling to Shenzhen, Guangzhou, I'm now in Chongqing, and that is consistently across the board, I'd say 50% is my guesstimate. And you can just watch cars on the highway, right? I mean, it's just incredible how many green plates, and that is...
And just listen to this for a minute.
Yeah.
We're in the city center of 35 million. There's traffic just in front of us here. But you don't hear the, you know, the pollution, the exhaust, the noise of the vehicles, the running engines. Whether you like it or not, these cars are coming.
You know, when you come to China, one of the things that I've really noticed on this trip is just, you know, even how much more advanced life is here. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a cashless society where, you know, I don't go out with a wallet in China. I go out with the cell phone.
That's
right?
the
And
wallet right there.
We live on WeChat Pay. Everything is convenient. I mean, it really is. It does feel like you're stepping into the future here, right? So one of your best performing videos is the cyberpunk video,
Yes,
right?
of course.
Where it's kind of like a glimpse into the future, and you're just showcasing all of these incredible scenes, and it just is, you know, we just don't have that in the West. It's just China is a step ahead, and that's why it's exciting to come back, because you get a glimpse of what our future is like, you know, looking at this technology.
We're still pushed this narrative on the Western media that if you go to a cashless society, this is Big Brother going to watch you. Don't be fooled. If you think your North American and European banks do not know what's going on in your accounts, they do. Okay. Something that China has done, and they said, okay, there's a reason why maybe we'll go to cashless. All right. One of them is they saw a drastic decline in money laundering,
Right.
drugs,
Right.
prostitution. Okay. These are things that I think grip any nation.
Right.
To say that nothing, you know, a society is 100% clean would be lying.
Yeah.
If that's under control, if theft of money is under control, is, you know, corruption. Once again, no nation's perfect, including China. It has, you know, ways to go forward to improve that.
Right.
You're an absolute fool if you come to this country and think that you can operate some underground organization. You will be caught. Because there's mechanisms to do that. Now, back to the new energy vehicle. I think it's key to say to the viewers that this is the Chinese government understanding that when you drive these cars, your monthly fuel bill is going to go down by 80%.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, that means more money. Also, the resale values of these cars are holding their prices. Even Elon Musk is saying, there's Tesla, and the other, if you ask Elon Musk, you say, Elon, top 10 new energy vehicles in the world.
Yeah.
Of course, he's going to say, we're on there, Tesla. But the other 9 are Chinese.
Oh, it's undeniable. And I think if you like China or not, you know, China's coming, and it's going to be it's going to be a big player. And one of the most incredible things is how China has actually involved Tesla directly in the ecosystem, right? I mean, 50% of the Teslas are made in the Shanghai Gigafactory, which is incredible. But, you know, because China invited Tesla into the country, it has established a huge presence here. It was able to learn and adapt, and that certainly moved that industry very much forward here. And, you know, ironically, Alex, that is the funny thing when we look at, for example, the battle of microchips. I think before all of these tariffs and the tech war and the microchip battle, China was the #1 customer for American microchips. And they really didn't have a need to develop the domestic market. They were quite happy to just say, hey, you know what we'll do? We'll just be your #1 customer. We'll just buy a ton of your microchips, and we're happy to use that. I mean, even today, I mean, I was at the Huawei store, you know, because I wanted to check that out. That is, of course, banned in the United States, so we don't see that technology.
Are you serious? You seriously don't see many Huawei handsets?
Zero. I mean, there's
everyone. I haven't been to North America in a while, so I'm not sure when we hear the bans if it's really a ban. But
it's 100%. You will not see a single Huawei product in America at all. But what was interesting is even all the new Huawei computers, they still have the Intel chips. They have the little marker on there.
I've got one in my backpack here right now.
So I think what I want people to understand as well is that despite the fact that U.S.-China relations are at a very low point, there's no denying that, there is still a tremendous amount of collaboration here. I mean, I was walking...
Like where we are. Sorry, I keep interrupting you, Cyrus, but if you go 20 meters that way, you're going to see American brands. You're going to see, European brands in these shopping malls. You're going to see American restaurants. You're going to see the Starbucks.
Yeah.
There is a lot of America outside of America sitting here in China.
Yeah.
And if you look at the Fortune 500s, you look at the bottom lines, you will see a special line there, overseas, EBITDA. It will go right through and say how much of the balance sheet is fueled by China. Do you want to say no to 1.5 billion people buying your product? No, there's a lot of America here, and they embrace it.
Well, Alex, we're walking across the bridge now across the Yangtze River.
Beautiful skyline here of Chongqing, and then ahead of us we're looking at Jiangbei. This is the financial district of the city, but this city, you saw it today on the World Financial Center, how far it branches out as far as the eye can see. You then get the perspective of, yes, this is one of the biggest cities in the world.
Oh,
hands down.
Absolutely. I mean, this is an incredible walk. I mean, we've got the Chongqing Theater here, this beautiful green building over there.
In the springtime, when the water levels start to increase, people come down to the bridge here, and there's a bridge party. They shut these bridges down, and people have a celebration, and they see, some of the runoff for the spring runoff. It changes, and that's an iconic development there. That's by Capital Land. That was one of the most expensive, real estate projects ever in the city here. You can see the front there is formed as a sail, splitting the two rivers.
Oh, nice.
So it's quite phenomenal. And once again, you see this building here. This is typical for Chongqing. You'll go out on the main floor, and then you'll go to this restaurant. You think, okay, I'm on the lobby floor, and you'll get into the elevator, and it'll say like floor 17. You're like, well, no, I came in on the main floor, but you can see how far down these buildings go.
Right.
This is normal for Chongqing.
Yeah, it's the city built on the side of a mountain.
Yes, absolutely.
And it has this beautiful peninsula. Yeah, so we're leaving the peninsula now. And
Yep.
Alex, I just think, in the 12 months since my last visit to China, I do see a little bit of differences here.
Mm-hmm.
I do see that the restaurants are filled with people.
Right.
That people are, a lot of domestic tourism here coming to Chongqing specifically. I still think that there's a lot of optimism amongst the Chinese people here. I mean, every country has economic slowdowns. I mean, I remember being in hearing 2008, 2009 when we had the financial crisis that just ripped through the real estate market in North America. Slowdowns are possible and anywhere in the world, but I think that they have built here is just truly one of the most incredible cities in the world.
You mentioned slowdown, you mentioned the buzz feeling, okay, Shanghai was open, but it didn't have just yet that buzz that you need. When you close down the entire global economy for almost 3 years, there's going to be repercussions.
Yeah.
And the Chinese are very aware of that. They understand that. Even during the pandemic, there was concern on how is this country going to come out of this?
Right.
Now, some will agree with the strategy, some will disagree with the strategy, but we are here in 2024, we are out of it. Some of the decisions here are responsible. I know that this isn't a country that, at least for the 3 years I was here, I did not see price increases much on vegetables, the common thing that people need to feed themselves, gasoline, important things in people's lives where a lot of people really miss this. They'll say, well, the property prices are going up and the stock market is flying, so everything is okay.
Right.
We had a great discussion about this yesterday,
Yeah.
talking about, the stock market might be up, but there's a lot of people that can't even afford eggs and milk. The Chinese, at least for the 3 years of my experience, going to markets and grocery stores and eating, there hasn't been much inflation issues here.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? The government understood that we got to come out of this. It's not going to be easy. I would never want the job of 1.5 billion people.
Right.
No thanks. They've come out of it slow. They didn't come out of it and say, all right, let's press the pedal on printing money. Let's rip the economy. Let's pump in and flush the economy with money. Let the pieces fall where they may.
Right.
Let the inflation run rampant. You
Right.
saw that playbook happen in America.
Yeah.
You're witness to it.
Right.
You see it every day there. Now, that's not to say that the Chinese rule book coming out of this is going to succeed.
Right.
But I feel the slow steps now, we're kind of grinding it. Some of the colleagues I work with say, 8 months ago, it wasn't good at all. The economy, it's a little bit better, Alex, but I want it to be a little bit better.
Yeah.
And it's getting there.
I think so. And one of the other interesting things that I want to talk about is just the fact that we're seeing China opening up more, and we've what we've seen in the last, visitors, foreign visitors coming to China is up 305% in Q1 2024 compared to the same period last year. And we've seen a tremendous amount of moves from China's government. I mean, just in the past week here in Chongqing, we've seen the Australian government, the New Zealand government, both announce that now their citizens can come here visa-free.
And these were here's the beautiful thing about China. It can put its geopolitical issues to the side and say, you know what, guys, let's do trade, let's make business together. I guess the blueprint to that is the One Belt, One Road, 153 countries and growing, where China says, you know what, whatever geopolitical differences we got, we still got to trade, we still got to, not hurt our infrastructure. It's funny that you mention the travel here. This city of Chongqing, once again, not very well known internationally, has pumped billions of dollars into a new terminal called the T3B. And you go down there and every week they have this ceremony. We've opened direct flights with Rome. We've opened direct flights with Barcelona. You might find that funny to hear, but this is a city getting ready. This is a country getting ready. And when you start to hear those barriers come down and the word gets out that China isn't big bad China what you thought. We're seeing a lot of our mates and other influencers and YouTubers and TikTokers, whatever, roll into this country and say, wait a minute, this isn't what I was told. Maybe I'll go back, get another visa, come back for 60 days and see China. Like we just saw Patrick Lancaster arrive here from the Donbass area, And he's like, said to me today, I was supposed to maybe fly back tomorrow, but I'm going to extend. It's beautiful. It's great to hear.
Absolutely. Well, I think the big thing is and I know this is something that for both of us, I mean, we've had a combined almost 15 years in China, and I think it's just, you have to get on the ground here. Alex, how incredible. Yesterday we were sitting right on this bridge and we had a group of young students come to us, and that's what I want more people to understand is that as an American, coming here, I've felt nothing but warm welcomes from the Chinese people. China's open. China's always going to continue to be a player. It is going to be a force in this world. There's no denying that. It will be a part of it. And the best way to experience it is to come here and do it yourself.
Oh, and we must mention the cost to come here when you are here and whatever luxuries. If you see some of these buildings behind us here, some of them have what they're called micro hotels. And that will be a businessman that says, okay, I don't want to build a 20-story building. Give me a floor in an office tower. And they will take that floor and they will change it and convert it into a hotel. Now, some of these prices start at something crazy. I did a vlog on this, $15, $20 a night. You think, oh, is it a hostel? No, it's a newly clean 2 or 3 star hotel here in Chongqing. And then you get to the real players, the Nicolos, the Intercontinentals, the Raffles. How are you? It's great. If you want to come to a country where I would say the welcome mat and the red carpet is rolled out for you, it's right here.
Agreed. Well, Alex, it's always a pleasure to catch up with you. Thanks for filling me in on your journey in Chongqing and letting me know what this city's been doing the last few years. 2023, we met in Shanghai. 2024, we're in Chongqing. Let's tell the visitors, where do you want to visit in 2025?
It's interesting you say that. What I've done here in 3 years, to having my name on a skyscraper, to having a TV show, being one of the first foreign anchors on a TV show, satellite television show in China, first ever. You know what? Maybe Beijing.
Let's do it. Beijing 2025. All right. Everybody, go follow Alex. You know where to find him. I'll put the links down in the description below. And everybody, thank you so much for being with us here in beautiful Chongqing, and we'll see you in our next video.